Fabulous. Hello, Real Estate Rockstars. Your host, Hana, is here today. My guest is our coach, Jess Stone. Hi, Jess. How are you?
You.
Lovely to have you here. And some of you might have seen the advertisement for today's jam session topic. And it's something what Coach Borino, our our beloved founder, would never want to talk about because
Yeah.
from his experience and his expertise point of view, he would say, no, you have to focus on sellers so you have everything under control and you don't end up being an Uber driver and, yada, yada, yada. However, for some agents working with buyers, it's just the right thing, the right cup of tea. For newer agents, it might be the easiest way to get their feet wet. And I know, well, we all know that Jess is not a new agent, but she still likes working with buyers. And today she will share why, okay, and how she makes it successful. And she will also tell us about red flags. She doesn't know it yet, but I would like to know what are the red flags of working with buyers and even how to fire them. Not only how to hire them, how about how to fire them? So I am not sure if we have enough time. This is supposed to be only 30-minute session, but if we will run over time, or maybe we can set up a part two. So this is a part one. So
This will be fun.
Jess, why don't you tell us first, why do you like working with buyers?
Okay. Now I would like to preface this with Bruno fully knew that I liked working with buyers. He would tease me mercilessly about it. And the thing is, I mean, yes, listings are where it's at. It's you get a listing, you're gonna get paid. Buyers, you don't always have that, they don't always stick to you. It's like they'll see a house on the internet and they'll be like, okay, hey, can you show me this house? And you'll be like, yeah. And then you go and you find out that they're working with another agent. And me personally, that's like, I don't like to poach. I am going to ask straight up front whether or not they have another agent that they're working with.
Yeah.
And if they do, I'm like, you really need to call your agent. This is, I can't help you with that. That is,
It's not ethical. It's not ethical,
it's
and you
not. And
have to
it's,
follow ethical conduct. So the whole industry, has a good reputation, or as good as it gets. So you're now talking about like a vetting questions. So you will first ask them if they have if they sign up with a realtor, right? If they have a
yeah.
representation. What else? What else are your questions?
Well, there's quite a few questions. I actually have a consultation that I do with people when I talk with them, because I don't work with a lot of people. I choose who I work with. And if I don't think it's a good fit, then, yeah, I'll refer it out to somebody else or I'll suggest somebody else, to go to. But the consultation is the biggest thing.
Mhm.
Um, to kind of go back to the first question that you asked about why I work with buyers, it is a dopamine hit. I love walking into a house and I love seeing people's faces like when it's the one. It is like, oh, we can put the Christmas tree over here, or oh, we can put this great piece of art over here, or oh, I can really see this. It is, I love people so much. I love just seeing how their inner head works and how their mind kind of comes up with different things that they can do. It's it's a dopamine hit. It really is. And to me, when you have a good connection with somebody and you can actually see that dopamine hit kick in with them as well, when they get excited, that's like, all right, okay, I'm doing a good job. It's gold
Aw.
star for Jess, you know?
You're going after the emotions. I can see that because it's
Yes.
like matchmaking,
Hmm.
for many, many years ahead. And yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly like matchmaking. It's like, you're not only matchmaking, but then you move into the whole, herding cats kind of aspect of it, where you're like controlling the chaos and it's like, hello, puppets, do
Uh,
what I say, not what I do. And, you just really kind of, you gotta go with the flow a lot of times. But with buyers, everybody is awfully, okay. There were a few people that were like, they're not sellers in the comments. And yes, okay, yeah, no, buyers are not sellers. But you can't sell something if you don't have a buyer.
Yeah, that is true. We need both sides.
So
And also let's keep in mind these buyers will eventually become sellers over a certain number
exactly,
of years as the
you
family
can
is
keep that
growing or
relationship.
shrinking. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when I work with buyers, like I said, I have a 6-page consultation.
Oh,
And at the end of that consultation, I actually have a buyer's agreement that I'm actually having them sign. Because, now in this wonderful, wonderful age of that wonderful NAR lawsuit,
yeah.
where, they're saying, oh, I overpaid for commissions or whatever, we have to be very careful about what we as buyers agents tell. And
Side note, just imagine that here in Northern Virginia, we are starting to see listings with a zero buyer's commission.
we've seen that too. We've seen that too. I've seen $1, I've seen zero. And it's so important to have that buyer's agreement, especially if this is somebody that you're going to spend time with,
Yeah.
because it means that we're spending our money, we're spending our gas, we're
How do you
spending
how
our
do you
time.
protect yourself to be paid for your work? So
Mhm.
let's, a couple of questions. You have the buyer's agreement. Does it outline your commission? How do you
Mhm.
go about that?
I tell them, I write it down in plain black and white. I show them exactly where my money is going and what is going to. And if I'm going to spend, 60, $70 in gas every couple of days, taking them around and showing them different houses, I want to make sure that my time is worth that money. And if we're seeing it here in Florida, I mean, we still have our listing agreements that actually show
Mhm.
that we cooperate with other agents, where it's specifically listed in our contracts, where, we're going to give the buyer's agent a certain percentage,
Yeah.
but we can still write in zero if we're getting that listing contract. So to me, I'm like, okay, this is what I normally get paid, and I'm not going to talk about figures because, yeah, that's
Yeah.
just a great big no-no. But I specifically say, this is everything that I'm doing. I'm rolling out the red carpet for you. I am going to show you everything. And I very much, that was one thing that I learned very quickly, to know what you're worth.
Yeah.
And if you're not worth having them sign a buyer's agreement and be like, yeah, okay, I trust you to help me find my house, my dream house, or, my starter house or my starter condo, whatever. I feel like I am worth the money. And if I can convey that to them with my actions, they're not going to have a problem with it.
Well, absolutely, because let's just quickly line it up. It's not only you finding the right proper homes or, showing them, touring them, but it's also your expertise in a real estate, knowing how to negotiate a contract, knowing how to schedule and conduct inspection, knowing how to assist the buyers if they need a loan. There is so much to it.
There is.
Without proper guidance, they might make really costly mistakes.
Yeah,
So,
especially with first time home buyers that don't know what they're doing. It's funny. It's like, I actually had somebody walk into our office just yesterday, and they were like, hey, we saw your sign outside on the road, and we want to buy a house. We just don't know what we need to do.
but
And
this is
so
fantastic.
it's like,
I love it.
that doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't. I
Oh,
mean,
I would be like
it's
sitting
not
by
like
the
it used to
door
be.
waiting, like, hey,
Yeah,
anyone?
everybody's like on realtor and everything, and it's potluck whether or not they call you on like realtor or Zillow or whatever. And honestly, I don't throw realtor or Zillow a lot of money. I do more advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and now I'm doing TikTok, even though we'll see how that goes. But I just asking questions is the number one thing that you can do when you're working with buyers, because a lot of times they don't know what they're doing.
So
They
let's
don't know
go
what
let's
they
go
want.
through the questions. Now we know why you like working with buyers. You just get this buyer's high.
Mhm.
I can see that. And then now we know that you have them sign your buyer's agreement where you outline even your commission and explain why and how it's being distributed. And now let's go back to the questions. So the question number one obviously is, do you have you signed a buyer's agreement with another agent, right?
Yes.
That's reading.
Yeah.
And then
That's
what
like
else?
meeting ending right there. But I mean, you go through the standard questions of, asking them how many bedrooms and bathrooms they want. I always ask, okay, what what how many bedrooms and bathrooms would make you feel comfortable? Do you want to, sometimes they're like, okay, we have like 6 kids, so we need at least like 4 bedrooms, and we'll bunk some kids together and stuff. But I always like to ask, where they're comfortable with and what they can settle for, because you
Yeah,
can't always get what you want in this market. The inventory is still so low. Um,
absolutely.
Another big question that I like to ask is, you know, well, yes, obviously the money. You always want to find out if they're pre-approved. If they're not pre-approved, I have I have been since the beginning. I am like, I will show you one house, and if you're not pre-approved, you're gonna get pre-approved before we go to the second house. So,
Smart, because you don't want to waste your and their time.
mhm,
You have to know where you are standing because that will narrow down your search as well.
exactly. And also, when you're on that one and done, as I like to call it, you can also get a better feel for that person, for that particular client. You can actually sit there and you can be like, okay, they're not really serious. You can tell a lot by just observing people. But if they're like, oh, okay, we can look at this, and this kitchen isn't big enough. I really like to cook. Or, ooh, this backyard is phenomenal. Or, ooh, this backyard is, ew. You can get a lot of information just by watching somebody. You can tell if they're serious or not.
I
And
like it. So you are willing to do one showing before they'll be pre-approved.
Mhm.
Would you do one showing even before they would sign you buyer's agreement? Just to feel them out and see if you are actually the right match.
Absolutely.
Like it, it's like a sample in a mall, in the restaurants when they stand with the tray and feed
And
you.
it's not as pushy as some of those mall kiosks.
Well, the time you then spend with the buyers is so impactful that you really want to protect yourself that you work with the right people. I totally see no problem with that. And then once again, guys, whoever is listening, by the way, you can chime with a couple more questions while we are having this live streaming on Facebook, or send it later on. I can catch up with Jess on another session. Keep in mind, your business is your business and you run it the way you want to run it. Okay. Don't let anyone to tell you how you're supposed to run your business because it's your life. And basically what Jess is describing, some of you might say, oh, no way, Jose. But you know what? Just listen and learn and observe, because there is always room for improvement or at least knowing how other agents operate successfully, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Every transaction for me is a learning experience. I feel like I learn something from every single deal I do. And I've been doing this for, 9 years now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's in over 2 states, so just you learn how to deal with people. You learn how to, I don't want to say manipulate people because that's not what we do.
Right. You are guiding them.
Teach them, we guide them. We will hold their hands. We are their,
Keeping.
we're their best friend for throughout the transaction. We are there to talk them down off a ledge if, they get crazy. I have I love actually when parents come in. This is gonna sound so funny. Okay, I don't really love it, but I love the ability to actually be like, to somebody that's buying their first home
Mhm.
and their parents come in and they're like poo-pooing everything. And I
Oh,
love pulling them aside and saying, it doesn't matter what your parents think. It doesn't matter what Uncle Johnny thinks. It doesn't matter what your best friend thinks. It matters what you think. It matters if you like the house. If you don't like the house, you don't have to buy it. If they don't like the house, well, then they don't have to come and visit. And
well,
usually that really cracks people up and it really kind of like puts them more at ease. And
mhm.
it's just, it's almost like you have, it's a little confidence boost. You have to, you're their guide as their buyer's agent. You hold their hand. And
I
it's
love
like
it.
sometimes
You are
we can be therapists.
anyone who is buying a house with Jess is getting a free therapy sessions.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I will, if somebody texts me, I've had texts like at 11 o'clock. Oh my God, I'm thinking about this. What do we do about this? And I will just shoot them back like a kitten, like a little kitten meme or something, just something to kind of like, it's okay. Just calm down. It's okay. We got this. And it's, make sure you set up your boundaries because you will get texts.
So let's talk about boundaries. So you first do the questions, the lineup, which protects you and them as well. And then let's dig a little bit deeper. So how about what are the boundaries? Because at 11 p.m., honestly, I'm not gonna respond.
No, I'm not going to answer the
I'm
phone
not.
either. It's anybody that calls me like that late, if I answer the phone, it's my own damn fault.
Ah,
So,
yes.
but yeah, I normally, yeah, boundaries, make sure you set your boundaries. I usually tell people, okay, you can call me anytime after 9 o'clock in the morning, but usually I am with my family after 7. So,
Perfect. And setting up boundaries up front in a verbal or written form in an email, you can always go back to it. Remember when I told you, remember I've sent you the email, what are my office hours? And they are definitely generous,
yeah,
more than 9 to 5. And some light weekend work included as well. We have to teach our clients how to treat us.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, especially during the school year because I've got kids that are in school. And sometimes, I mean, a lot of buyers want to go out on the weekends. So if I'm working on the weekend, I'm going to take a day off in the week during the week. I'm going to sneak away for a matinee during the week. But I try and keep like one weekend day
Mhm.
specifically off. Just like, okay, I need this day you know, I'll help you out tomorrow. And it rotates between Saturday or Sunday. It just depends. Normally it's a Sunday that I'm off. But if somebody comes to me and says, no, I understand that you only work one day a weekend. Can you please do this? Sometimes I'll make that exception, especially like for out of town clients that are coming in for like a weekend and we do marathon sessions, which
Reasonable.
yeah, with marathon sessions, that's another topic entirely as far as handling that would be like a good buyer's time management kind of discussion.
Can you entertain us for like 1 minute? What do you mean with the buyer's marathon? I know where you are heading, but some might be questioning, what exactly is that?
Yeah, okay. So like buyer marathons, that is when you are with like one client all day.
Mhm.
That is like they come in from out of town, which we have a lot of that here in Florida, where they're coming in from like New York or California or wherever. I had a guy from North Carolina just the other day, and he was only in for that weekend.
Okay.
And
How many how many
I sent
properties?
him,
How many properties you've seen?
oh geez, I only do 8 a day because after
Only?
only 8 a day with one client because after you'll get confused. And I try and put together like a packet, like
Yeah.
before we go out of every single house.
Yeah.
I'll give them a little notebook and I'll be like, okay, this is every single house that we're doing. I want you to take notes and I want you to, you can even take pictures, but just make sure that they are, they're paying attention, because you see 8 houses a day, you're gonna get confused.
Oh, absolutely.
It's,
Yes.
that's just what it is.
Yeah, plus, you also have to outline the route,
Mhm.
really like an Uber
Yes.
driver. And
Uh-huh.
so tell us, what were the results? Did your client purchase a property?
Not yet. So we have narrowed it down. So
Okay.
we have, because we started with, I start big. I start with like a big list of, 50 to 100 houses that I think.
Oh, wow.
And then I will say, okay, pick your 5 favorite houses in
Okay.
this area. And then so they'll pick out what they like. And then I will ask them questions
Ah,
specifically. Okay, what did you like about this house?
okay.
What specifically about this house is intriguing to you? What are you wanting to do? It's all part of the consultation. In the consultation, it doesn't end just sitting at the table talking about what they want. You have to pay attention, because their needs could change as they go.
That's true. That's true. How about if you have buyers and they are unsure about a timeline? What are you willing to do? What is your best practice when someone will be like, well, I want to buy maybe soon if something good pops up, or maybe within a half a year? What would be, we were talking about a
Part of my
boundary.
consultation, actually.
Ah, how about the red
Uh,
flags? Boundaries and red flags, they're kind of side by side. Tell me what would be a red flag when it comes to a buy
So
from your
I have,
experience.
yeah, I have like three types of buyers. I kind of narrow them down. I have my A buyers, my B buyers, and my C buyers. My
Mhm.
A buyers, they have a time limit. I am going to dedicate most of my time to them because they have something, the core driving emotion, whether it's a job, they have to move, or their lease is coming up to an end. They are going to be the most important people. I'm going to be talking with them every day, if not every other day.
What would
I
be their
have
timeline, like within the next 3 months or shorter period of time?
usually the next A buyers I put in 30 to 60 days.
Whoa,
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay,
So
that's
that is,
great
yeah.
category. How about B buyers?
B buyers are 60 to 90 days or a
Uh-huh.
little bit more than that.
Uh-huh.
They're ones that are like, okay, yeah, we have a deadline, but it's not for a while. We really want to find something that we really like. And they're usually my most prepared buyers because they're pre-approved. They know what their budget is. They know exactly where they want to be. The A buyers, usually it's a little frantic, where they're like, okay, hey, oh, we like a lot of people that move. They're like, oh crap, we've been recruited by this company. We have to move. We
30,
need a
30
house.
days. 30 days, that's brutal.
Mhm. It's oh, and it might not be, we might not be able to actually hit that deadline.
Yeah.
Sometimes yes,
How about,
sometimes no.
oh yeah, yeah. How about your C buyers? Like that's like 90 days and sometimes within the year or
C buyers are my buyers that they're either looking for the perfect deal. They don't have to buy right now. There's nothing holding them to buying, that they are going to be on my kind of like my drip feed, and I'm going to touch base with them like at least every 2 weeks or so, just to check in, see how they're
so
doing. And
those
when
could be
they're ready,
right? Those could be investors as well
yes,
who
yeah.
just waiting for the right opportunity. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I actually have quite a few investors that I've worked with that are in my C category.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, C is something that they're waiting for, like the right deal. They're waiting for the right house. There's nothing that they have to do. They're ready to go when they're ready.
Yeah, but then usually those people are like maybe cash buyers. They are
Yeah,
ready to make the move and then the transaction happens super fast.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
okay, I want to share one of my favorite questions to ask people in my consultation.
Please, yes, yes, show and tell or
Okay,
ask and tell
so
because
one of my favorite
oh,
conversations is, what is your favorite thing about your house right now?
why do you ask this question?
Because that tells me, like, if they say, "Oh, I love my kitchen. It is so spacious and I have tons of room." I'm going to start, when I look through the search that I set up, I'm going to specifically kind of pull out specific houses that have like big kitchens, or if they like spending time in the backyard. Oh, I love my backyard. I love gardening and everything.
Mhm.
I'm going to specifically pull houses that have big backyards with lots of potential for gardens or whatever they want to do, or if they want a pool, if they want to swim,
Yeah.
and then that helps you get to know your client. That, because you ask somebody what their favorite thing is, they're gonna talk. They're going to light up and they're just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I love this and this." And then after you hit them with that, my follow-up question, okay, so what's the number one thing that you hate about where you're living?
The opposite, and that
The
makes sense.
exact opposite. And they're gonna be like, ugh, because that's where you're going to find your deal breakers. That's going to be, I always like to ask for, what are your deal breakers? If a house has this, what is going to be instant no? And
Mhm.
then I will actually go through the list of the houses that I'm going to send them. And if any of those deal breakers pop up, I'm going to eliminate them.
Yeah, narrow the search, make it easier for them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more you talk with your client and you ask them questions, like, I know a lot of agents, they'll go on, they'll take you out, they'll give you your MLS sheet and you'll go in. And I always like to do the research beforehand. I always like to get to know the property beforehand. And I'm like, oh, hey, check this out. Oh, I found out this about, like, if there's an HOA, it's like, you can't park on the driveway, you can't park on the street here, but you can park in the driveway. And like, if they're into camping or something, I'll be like, hey, this HOA has like a little area where you can like park your camper and you can
Yeah.
store it, so you don't have to worry about it, messing up with your HOA.
So basically, you have to learn as much as you can about the lifestyle and the needs and the must-have and can't have from your clients to help them. Okay, before I let you go, time is up, but one more, and that's a tricky question. Maybe we can dedicate it to another jam session. You said that the inventory is still low. How do you deal with emotions on a buyer's end when they don't get the house where you put the offer and the disappointment? Oh my goodness, I went through that a couple times,
It
and
is,
it's hard, even though I work in the real estate.
I
It's
know,
just
and
hard.
it's my, when we're to the point where we're putting in an offer, my buyer, I know them so well. And I know how to be like, hey, we just didn't get it. I do my best. I
Yeah.
have even, when it was crazy, crazy, I have even written into contracts, agent will buy seller dinner one night at restaurants of their choice within
We're
reason.
bribing.
I do everything that I can to make sure that my buyer is top of the list. And that doesn't, I mean, it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
And yes, it can be disappointing,
Would
but
you warn them going into the offer that this
yeah,
also is a possibility that it can
yeah,
happen?
you really have to, especially in this market, because I mean, we're still seeing down here, I've still seen multiple offers on
Yeah,
several
same here.
houses.
Same here in Washington, D.C. area. Absolutely. Inventory is
Yeah,
still fairly low, but things are moving. Like we are busy. So
yeah. It's, you just really have to, you have to be empathetic, and you have to understand that, yeah, okay, this is this is how it is. We might not get this one, but
yeah.
I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure you get the next one.
Well, at the end, you're doing all you can, and that's all you can do. So I love it. So basically, you make sure with buyers, you make sure that they are not working with another agent, That's number one important thing. You make sure that you understand their needs, and then they get pre-approved. And then you split them into the three categories. I love that. I think it would be reasonable to extend our session maybe to another session. Now I will have to let you go because I have appointments as well. But just thank you so much for your
You're
time.
totally welcome. Yeah, and
And
hey, I would love to do a buyer's webinar for you guys. So Rockstars, if you want me to talk buyers,
yes,
I could totally help you guys out with that one. So I would love to do that. And you know, yeah, and seriously, guys, if any of the rock stars out there, I know that you probably don't want to admit that you're working with buyers, but it's what we do. I mean, we want to help everybody, and I am more than happy to answer any questions. You know, I will share my consultation forms if you guys want. You know,
oh my
it's
goodness. Okay, okay, stop it right there. I am already seeing phenomenal hour and a half webinar where you can totally unleash your buyer's expertise
yes.
and we can all learn from you. I would love it. Well, whoever is watching, guys, if you would like to be on the webinar, just chime in. We'll start a waiting list, and meanwhile, we'll have enough time to put it all together and have Jess back, and maybe even have you back for one more jam session just to keep on talking about the buyers, because they are as important as sellers.
Yeah.
Without buyers, we have no sellers. Without sellers, we have no buyers. It's, hey, I don't want to be political, but the left wing needs the right wing to fly, right? So,
Yep. It's
and that's it.
all
That's it. I'm done.
connected.
I'm done.
We'll get deep. It's all connected.
It's all yin and yang. Yeah, yes. Well, again, thank you so much, Jess, for your
You're
time.
very welcome.
Thanks for watching or listening, and I'm looking forward to be back again. You have a wonderful day and go get them.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye, guys.